Hi all, this is Anisha, Assistant Professor, Department of Costume Design and Fashion, Nehru Arts and Science College, Coimbatore. I am going to handle care and maintenance of textiles. Its course code is 19U3CDC518. Module title, Starch and its preparation from Unit 2. Learning objective, outline on stiffening agents and its purpose, identify the types of starch and its preparation. Starch. Module topics are Introduction, Source, Purpose of Starch, Types of Starch, Cold water starch, Boiling water starch, Summary, References. Cloths sometimes need to be stiffened before wear. Starch is the most frequently used stiffening agent. Source of starch. Starch is found in many plants and is the form in which food is stored for future use, just as animals store fat for use in leaner times. With rice, wheat, and maize, the major source of laundry starch, the starch is stored in a dry form in the seeds of the plant and is converted to sugars for energy when the seed germinates in wet soil. With potatoes and other plants, starch is stored in the root. When manufacturing starch, the source plant are treated to remove all other material such as husk, proteins and other impurities which would hamper performance in the laundry environment. The purpose of starch in laundering. The stiffness imparted to fabric to enhance appearance, texture, and performance in use. All fabrics, natural or man-made, have a tendency to crease, pucker, or flop even after high-pressure ironing. Starch make a tablecloth lie perfectly smooth on a table with razor edges at the sides. Napkin can be crafted into fan and chef hats can sit proudly and professionally on the wearer's head. Starch also gives thin linen more body and a high quality feel. Types of starch. It has been classified into two as cold water starch and boiling water starch. Cold water starch. Cold water starch is a modified starch used to stiffen textiles and other related fabric. It is used in cold water at room temperature on the fabric to be treated. Cold water starch is easy to use. It does not require boiling water to prepare it. This has made it a darling to starch users and launderers. The cornstarch is available in two forms, namely powdered cornstarch and liquid cornstarch. Powdered cornstarch. This is a cornstarch in a powder form that needs to be dissolved in ordinary water before use. It looks like powder detergent. Liquid water starch. This is a cornstarch in liquid form that needs to be mixed with ordinary water before use. Ingredients of cold water starch: 1 tablespoon of rich starch, half teaspoon of borax to provide more permanent stiffness, 3 drops of turpentine instead of wax, half pint of cold water and 1 tablespoon of boiling water. Method of preparation of cold water starch. Step 1. Dissolve the borax in boiling water. Step 2. Add cold water to the dissolved borax and pour this onto the starch. Step 3. Add turpentine. Step 4. After mixing the turpentine onto the cold water starch, it is made into a smooth paste. In step 4, strain through muslin, cover and leave for half an hour before use. Stir thoroughly before each use. Boiling water starch. Old-fashioned boiled starch is still the best way to give fabric a stiff and crisp texture. It's good for Civil War petticoat, Victorian shirt collar and cuff, or any place you need extra starch. Today, It can even be made at home in the microwave quickly and cheaply. Ingredients required for the boiling water starch. First, 1 tablespoon of rich starch. Quarter teaspoon of borax helps to make the starch more resistant to atmospheric conditions. Shredded wax or a small amount of soap to help the iron to glide more easily over the fabric. Next is 2 tablespoons of cold water. At last, add 1 pint of boiling water. Method of preparation of boiling water starch. Step 1. Mix the starch to a smooth paste with 2 tablespoons of cold water using a wooden spoon. Step 2. Pour in the boiling water quickly, stirring all the time until the appearance of the liquid changes to transparent gray. The starch thus prepared is called starch jelly and must be diluted at once by adding equal amount of hot water. Step 3. Add a little formalin can prevent the starch from becoming sour. Step 4. A pinch of wax prevent the starch from sticking while ironing. Step 5. Now cover the starch at once to prevent a thick skin forming on the top. Summary. This presentation provides details of process, product and application of starch. It will continue to strive to meet the greater demand for performance from starches as production techniques change in the coming years. PreserveArticle.com, EngineeringInterviewQuestions.com, Tester RF, Karkalash, Starch Composition, Thomas, David J. and William A. Starches, Sushila Dandiagi's Fundamentals of Textile and Their Care. Hope you all enjoyed the session. Thank you.